Okay, so I got a new camera. This is the Nikon Z30. I previously had a Panasonic G9, but that was a professional grade camera, but it was very large. I then sold that and got a Sony ZV1, which I've been using a bit, but I was a bit disappointed with the photos and video, particularly in low light, so when I was on holiday, which is where I mainly use my cameras for video walkthroughs and things like that. So what I particularly liked about this camera is the fact that it seems to be very good at film sensitivity high levels, which is called ISO, for low light situations. Grey, rainy day, I'll take it around some sort of not too nice areas, some sort of industrial areas. Around where I live, it's not a bad town actually, it's quite nice, but if you go off the beaten track, you get to some of these areas which are sort of now abandoned and where there used to be industry and things like that. Quite a few tunnels and things which could be good for low light tests. So I thought I'd go and have a bit of a walk around and test the camera. I filmed everything on auto exposure. It's filmed, this is the Nikon Z30 now that I'm filming on, all set to auto. And the good thing about this camera is you can set it to auto and just get on with it. You don't have to mess about with settings. So everything out of camera, everything's set on auto. I think there are a couple of photos where I put it on aperture priority, but apart from that, everything was totally on auto. The 1080p 120 frames a second was on auto as well. And I was just holding in the hand grip and not particularly for most of it making any effort whatsoever to be walking smoothly over rough terrain. So I'll give you my thoughts after the video and put in your comments what you think as well. Thanks. How does the stabilisation do? I'm not trying to walk stably. It's really bouncing up and down, really rough ground. So I could do a lot better than this. So we're going to go up this path here and up to Stores Hill, and it's really windy, so it'd be interesting to see how this camera is coping with the wind with the dead cats on it. So let's go up this path, see where this takes us. The camera seems to have pretty good stabilisation, it's not bad at all. So it's just in the lens, and I haven't got the in-body stabilisation switched on. See how it's coping. Funnily enough, it's going for a really low shutter speed of like 1/30th of a second. Bizarrely, in an F8, not sure why. That's on auto. Right, we're at the top here now. Have a look in Netherton. Try a bit of zoom. You can see in the distance up there, Emily Moore mast, which was one of the tallest structures in the world. I think it's about 15th. See it up there in the middle, TV mast, and there's another one they built next to it, just a thin mast rather than the main one you can go up in a lift. So let's try taking some stills, some landscape still, and I'll put those in the video. So continuing our journey on this dark and pretty miserable day. Just a few left. Again, I'll just take some photos and put those in. Old environment here, look at this. It's not good. Nice big house up there though. How's it picking up the sound of the electric going through the pile? Easy to flip between modes. The usability in the camera is absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see what these images come out of this rather depressing and dark, grey, windy, horrible day in a bit of an urban decay environment. Oops, nearly flipped then. So it's all quite a bit depressing video really, but good to see how it copes compared to a sunny beach, isn't it? I don't know where this goes to. Let's try a bit of vlogging, see how it goes. Spin this round. How's that? Yep. Really keeps a good lock on you and your eyes by the looks of it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's tracking my. Yeah, it's tracking my face. So that's good. So impressed with this camera. It's awesome. Image quality is fantastic. I love Nikon. My first really good camera was a Nikon when I was probably about 16 years old. I got it for Christmas, and that's when autofocus was just coming in and the lens all used to spin round automatically. It was one of the first autofocus cameras, Nikon camera I got. That would probably have been in about 1986, 87. So yeah, quality Nikon. I love this is just all on auto, and I absolutely love the colour sounds from these cameras. You just can't beat it. So we've come out down here and I'll turn it round. Yeah, just fantastic camera this. So quick to start up, immediately starts up really. It's another good thing. And so if you have a power compact camera, the lens has to come out and everything, and even cameras like the ZV1 take a little bit of time to start up. This is just immediate. There's a bit of colour around, but not much, folks, I'm afraid. In the UK in November. In fact, what I'm going to try out now is a bit of the slow motion with cars coming down here, 120 frames per second. Let's pan it round. So I've actually come a different way. And here we have more urban decay, some sort of abandoned prefabricated building. Maybe you can still hear the electricity coming through the pylon wires because of the damp air, quite noisy. Traffic in the far distance, so it's not a totally quiet environment this, even though it looks it. I can hear quite loud traffic in the distance and that electricity. So how's the microphones doing? Do I sound good for just a built-in microphone? It used to be there's a big quarry, like a stone quarry, and there's a pub called the Quarry Inn. So I assume this is a remnant of that, because it's fairly close. Although, if you look at those stones up there, it looks as though, you see that on top of that looks as though it's come from some sort of gatepost, doesn't it? So maybe it's like reclaimed stuff that they've got from somewhere and then they sell it on. Going to have a bit of a closer look down here. Heron or something there. Yeah, look, there's oops, it's on the right one. There's sort of lintels, maybe wall tops. And here we are. You know, I've lived around here for not far from here, a mile, and so never knew all this was here. So that's where traditional stone, reclaimed natural stone specialist, tradestone.co.uk. And there's a builder's yard there, or a building materials centre. And look, here's this big chimney. I always wondered what that was for. Must have been for the factory that was here before. We're just on a traffic bridge looking back at the river now. And I'll just get a quick 1080p, 120 frames per second now after this. This is in 4K. Just see how it compares, the same shot, and I'll slow it down. So the canals are always nice, and this is where I'm used to coming. I've on my bike down here. Lovely. So oh, I've got it on zoom, hang on. Zoom back out. So yeah, it's nice. Nice canals. So how's that vlogging looking? Let's try that again. So how's that? Let's get in my face. Tracking my eyes. So it seems to be picking, it's doing 1/50 now, shutter speed, and picking an f8 aperture, very low ISO of 200 and 100th. Obviously I think I'm going to have to get an ND photo for this camera for sunny weather. Yeah, seems again to be doing a good job tracking the face even with a hat on. Yeah, that's interesting. When the hat's down, it struggles a bit with the eyes. I think because the shadow was on my eyes. So it's got them now, but it keeps going to face. When it loses eye, it just goes to face. Doesn't have any problem with it without the hat on. So I better head back because Leeds United are coming on. Hopefully we'll have a win against Bournemouth today. Right, so here's a good test. And as I say, it's overcast today. Currently filming on, it's for some reason chosen F8. Shutter speed, it's just gone to 150, just where it seems to like. ISO of really low of 140. And I'm just going to go through this tunnel. So let's see how it copes with. ISO's already climbing to 560. And this is really dark in here, as you can see. So let's see how it copes with looking at these this graffiti in here. So 2,500, 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, 9,000, 12,000, 16,000, and that is really dark. And this camera is picking that up much more than you will see in real life. It's only showing ISO 8000. I'm just going to take a photo because that's a really good photo actually. I'll put that up as well. Yeah, so we're now come a bit further down, 25,600 ISO. Interestingly, when I left it on auto, it seemed to favour quite an high ISO, 12,500, even though you could take the still photo. I did it manually down to about 6.4, no problem. So it does favour ISOs. Now it's at 25,600, which is as high as it will go, but I mean, I'm looking on the screen and I can actually see all that. I can't see this in real life. So you can see in the dark a bit, this camera. So let's come out of this side and see how it goes. .650, 500 ISO now. Wow. 200, 160. It's got 1/100th of a second shutter speed now. That'll probably go down a bit. It seems to like 1/50. Yeah, it's gone to 150 now, ISO 140. And here's another dark tunnelish thing. So we'll go through here. Just keep walking with this one. Try not to fall in the mud. 640 ISO. It's keeping that 150, 560. 2,500, 3.2. 4, it just touched on 4. That's quite dark in there. So you can see just what a good low light performer this camera is. It's brilliant. So what are my thoughts on the camera? First of all, the thing that really strikes me about this camera is, as I said at the intro, it's the quality of the stills and the video. I think straight out of camera, just on the auto setting. The photos are fantastic. This is a really good photo camera. Absolutely beautiful colours, I think, on the photos, even on auto. The microphone is very good. I'm just using the internal microphone on that video as I am now. There's a little bit of a sort of whooshing sound in the background on it, and that's because it comes from, I think, inside the camera's making that sort of noise, and it's just picking a bit of that up. You might be able to hear it now if I just go very quiet. So that's what it seems to pick up. I've actually had 2 of these cameras, and they both do exactly the same thing, so it's not a fault with the camera. It's just that the camera, and believe it or not, even if I listen to my Sony ZV1 really closely, put it up to my ear like with this, you can hear the same sort of noise inside it. It's just these high gain mix that are built into the body of this camera do pick it up. But on the plus side, it's perfectly usable, as you can hear now, as you can hear on that video. It picks up your voice fantastically well. I've got it on voice isolation waveform on the setting of the microphone. As that, it was a windy on a lot of that video I took, and you can't really hear the wind, so that small rig wind muffler works really well. It should come in the box, that really. The camera is very easy to use. As I say, I just have it kept on auto, and I set up my user one just for 1080p 120, so I can quickly go into slow motion modes. Very easy to swap between photo and video. The other thing I would like actually would be, because it's got a dedicated video button, it would have been nice if you'd have been able to leave this camera in photo and get video without having to switch the video photo selector on it. That would have been really good. It starts up, as I said on the video, it boots up immediately, this camera. Within seconds you're ready to go, and I really like actually the manual nature of the zoom of the lens. So you twist it and it opens this pancakey zoom up, which is very small. Stabilisation, it's fine. Certainly when you stood there just pointed the camera about. If you want to be walking, try, I suppose when you're on pavements, try and hold it as still as possible. A grip would help, or buy one of these very small gimbals. In terms of size, yes, it's bigger than the ZV1, but once you've stuck that quite heavy wide angle Ulanzi lens that I think you need on the ZV1 because it's not wide enough, the weight is exactly the same, I'd say. In fact, the ZV1 could be slightly heavier, and the ZV1 lens sticks out then as much as the Nikon. So this Nikon on this video I've just done, I just had it in my jacket pocket, so it's pocketable. So it may be a sort of a centimetre or so taller, it may be 2 centimetres wider, and the grip may stick out more, but in practice it's certainly pocketable in a jacket, a cargo short. I was using it for quite a long time yesterday. I took all that footage and those photos on it, and some more which I haven't used, and it still had around about 2/3, maybe half of the battery left on it. So compared to the Sony where you're always on to swap the battery out, it's another plus. So do I like the camera? 100%. I think it's fantastic. I think the image quality is good. If it had IBIS in it, but that would probably make it more expensive, and it would have to be larger as well. If it had IBIS in it, it would be the best, I think, the best sort of camera for my use ever possibly made. In fact, it probably is anyway. to date. You just have to be a little bit careful when you're walking along with it, and be a bit more careful than I was in the video. But as you'll see in the video, even when I was paying no attention to trying to keep it stable and scrambling over quite rough terrain, it still was pretty okay, to be honest. And it's brilliant. I'd give the camera probably 9 out of 10. If you want a sort of vlogging camera, I suppose I don't really do vlogging, but if you want a vlogging camera, if you want that camera, a travel camera, and if you like, a social camera to take out with you on a night, particularly something that works well in low noise, then I'd say this is the camera for you. So I think I've spoken enough, and thanks for watching.